Hello, and welcome to this episode of Truths from the Virtual Man Shed. Really happy to welcome James Perryman this week. James and I have known each other for quite a long time. We had the same business coach for quite a while there, and James has always been a great outspoken supporter of short steps and men's mental health, which is such a refreshing change because often things people don't speak up and really engage. So welcome, mate. Welcome to the shed. Well done for
Thank you, Chris.
started.
I love my shed. I just put the lights up the other day.
Yeah, no, they look really good. I see you got the same shovel as I do.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, how does that happen?
so James, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do. What you're about.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Chris. So I'm James. I run my own business. I've got a couple of businesses actually, but one of them's more relevant than the other, and that's called Momentous. And it's where I help people who were like me when I was in my corporate career, people who are kind of at a career crossroad. They know they want to do something better. They want to be more purposeful, but they don't know what that looks like, or they do, but they don't know how to move there. It's people who have realized they've just worked too hard. They've been saying yes to everyone. They've tried to please everyone, and it's not paying off. And in fact, all they're doing is kind of burning themselves out and feeling tired, and they're not getting the rewards that they thought they'd get. So I really help them kind of become more self-aware, step back and focus on what that future looks like. And you know, it's people like me, because that's where I was at. I was my ideal client once upon a time. So I get what it's like. I get how frustrating it is. But I get that through some really good coaching, there's another side to it. There is a future.
And it's the same story for me. You know, the two of us are cut from a similar cloth, and our goal and mission, I think, is kind of the same, isn't it? To help blokes that are. It's difficult to refine, but I kind of try and focus in more on nowadays. Talk about if you're feeling stressed and frustrated, because I feel like as a language thing, men possibly understand that concept a bit more. And I have an HR professional the other day, and he was saying, in fact, it's tomorrow's just in the shed, Andrew Beaumont, that usually when people are signed off from work for mental health issues, it's usually just stress. It's a generic, we'll just put it down as stress.
Yeah.
And so actually to sort of try to focus in on that and sort of, but burnout is another great one, isn't it? And I had the same experience. I got up to 2012 in my career, and I think you were saying when we were speaking before that actually some of your initial responses were more physiological. And I really had over a strong period of time. And the truth for me there was that after a while I had to kind of listen to that and pay a bit more attention to it. And it was talking to people like Matt Howard, for example, actually, and other colleagues who recognised it and kind of been through it themselves. And things started to change. So how was it for you? You sort of said obviously you were sort of reached burnout after saying yes to everything for a few years.
Yeah, and it was, as I said, it was a real physical thing. So I was living in Kent, so kind of right down the southeast. I was managing a team that was spread in kind of just outside of London, West London, up near Liverpool, near Glasgow, near Leeds. So I was literally away from home like 3-4 days a week. I would then come home on a Thursday night, and I played with a football team, so I'd go and do football training. But I then convinced myself for a prolonged period of time that I'd have to work all through Thursday night. And so I would literally, with coffee, Red Bull, MTV bass on in the background, would work all through Thursday night, then kind of work on a Friday, and then kind of do stuff on the weekend, see my son on the weekend, whatever that meant, you know, his football, my football, everything. Then I'm getting stuff washed, ironed, ready for another week. And I kept it that for so long. And as
it sounds exhausting just listening to you describe it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. When I describe it, I'm like, God, that sounds knackering. I said to my doctor, kind of when it all kind of blew up, so to speak, I said to him, I felt like I was riding a wave. It was like a career wave, and I was just like, this is all going to work out. It's going to be the right answer. But it literally was one Christmas, and I came kind of downstairs, and my dad kind of grabbed my collar as I walked past him, and he was like, "Son, what's that on your neck?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And he looked, and there was a bit of a rash. He could just see at the top of my back. And he said, "That doesn't look good. You should get that checked out." Yeah. So I went to the doctor as soon as I could, and he said, "Okay, you've got a bit of a cough going on as well. How long's that been for?" "Oh, months. Tell me about your lifestyle."
What's this start COVID?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, if I cough now, everyone's like, "Oh." but it was just, as he says, coughing. But it was just all that I ticked all the boxes, and the doctor said, right, you're stressed, but you're physically stressed. Mentally,
you're run down.
You're in a good place. You're run down. Your body has just gone, I can't do this anymore. And so what that rash was psoriasis. And it's almost like as soon as you accept it and give it a name and say, oh, it is something, it then just went head to toe. So every bit of me was covered in the psoriasis. So that really knocks your confidence for one, you know, because we weren't in a world of lockdown at that point. So I had to go into the office, I had to go and see people, and do stuff. And so you have a mix of people who are looking at you like, you know, what's wrong with you? Or people that would just say, James, what's that? Like, what's going on? Which I actually value far more. People who just said, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? But so whilst I then had acupuncture, I changed my diet. You know, as a casual smoker, I stopped that, gave up drinking till I was better. But spicy food, seafood, like loads of stuff to give up to help get rid of psoriasis. And 3 months later, it had gone. But I think the magic of it was that it changed my mindset in terms of not saying yes to everything and just thinking about what's priorities, what's the most important thing to do today. Because I'm not going to do all of it, I've got to put some boundaries in. I've got to give myself the off time, and it just transformed the rest of my career to be more in control and to learn to say no. And then as a business owner, the same thing, you know, because it's so easy to because you are marketing, you're HR, you're ops, you're everything. To stop and just go, no, do you know what? I'm the boss here. I can just say I'm not doing it. I'm not working another night, another weekend.
And I think that's brilliant. And it's you know, I've talked about this before, and you know, when I'm talking to people, I'm saying to them, it's about giving yourself permission, isn't it? Once you recognise that, you can then go, actually, hang on a second, I'm just going to stop some of this nonsense. Or you know, I think you know. My sort of model, I talk about trying to remove waste and problem solving as a bit of a practical approach. But it's the same sort of thing. The coaching, you're sort of just exploring to see that you're run down or you're getting there or you're stressed as hell. Let's have a look at what your week looks like. That looks exhausting. You know, walking through it. And I think a lot of people, parents particularly, for example, mothers, you know, everyone has their own different types of pressure. To be a super mum or to be a strong, independent male that doesn't have any weaknesses and these kind of things that we get stuck with, don't we? And so that's just a great message, James, and a great truth that actually once you kind of realise that and once you've suffered that pain, you need to listen to that message and let it kind of change your mindset.
And it's and I think there's a whole thing about listening to your body as well. You know, what it feels like. So I know I can remember the feelings of, it's like scratchiness, tingliness. You want to because psoriasis is quite an itchy type of thing anyway. Disorder. So I know there's been times then when I've pushed myself too far. I've let myself accidentally slip into this zone of, you know, doing too much. I get that feeling. I get that tingly feeling. It's like, right, stop, brakes on. And, you know, I know it. And it's really important. You've got to do that. Or, like you said, you just remember, what did it feel like at that time? That wasn't enjoyable. Let your brain go, no, I don't want to be there again.
Yeah, I want to keep trying. And I still do that, you know, thinking back to anxiety, thinking back to issues. And if I'm feeling particularly what's the word, run down or sensitive, so I was feeling pretty low and pretty weepy for a couple of days there, and you have to remind yourself that that's okay.
Yeah.
Me and my partner was great about it. She was very reassuring. If you're open to receiving that support and that love, then
but it starts there, doesn't it? You've just got to, you know, the whole thing about short steps. The first step is just sticking your hand up and going, "I'm not okay," or opening your mouth and saying, "Can I just talk to you?" You know, it is the first thing, and then once you've done that, it's like, well, you've opened the box now. You know, that's exactly the best thing you could do, the very best thing you can do. And
I suppose that leads to a lot of fear as well of what that means to be opening that box, isn't it? Especially for guys that are proud. But I think you're absolutely spot on. Just however you say it, I'm not okay, or I could do with a talk, or I mean, I'm an expert at it now because my partner will come into the kitchen. She'll be like, "You okay?" And I'll just immediately start weeping and go, "No, I'm not okay." There's an amount of emotional availability there that really wasn't in the
Yeah, there
back.
is. But you know what? That's the right thing to do. I do that. I'll go in and just have a hug, and that's the symbol for okay, what's up?
Yeah. And it's a tactile thing. It's a manly thing. We've always done it, and I like it a lot. So, anything else you want to add in?
Around that, no, I think that's that's kind of what I think a lot of people go through, and they've probably been some will have been going through it, I think, over the summer, in terms of panically trying to work out what to do. For others, it's probably been the complete opposite. They've been on furlough, and that's created a different type of pressure and stress. And that's where I've kind of started working with some more clients, with people who just realize that actually my life has been just one massive, hamster wheel of no joy, no motivation, and it's time to get off. But they've had the time to realize that.
This is why. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think this is why this time is so important for people like us and the kind of work that we do, because actually it does leave you with that space of not having to go to the office, not taking breaks, not having coffee breaks, not stopping by your colleague's desk. People are just sitting, they're doing the work they have to do, and then they'll go make a cup of tea or talk to their partner. But it probably will have left a lot of people A, bored, B, missing that sense of self if they've associated themselves with their work, C, like you said, reflecting and suddenly thinking, what are you doing? Because when you suddenly have this, you suddenly have this long period of time, downtime, if you go on a holiday, what often happens is your body just goes,
you sleep like you've never slept before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's a great time to try to get out there. And so I'm going to thank you now. Thank you very much for joining me in the Man Shed. I think.
No, thanks for asking me, Chris.
I love your stuff. I think James is cracking. I think if you are a bloke who are suffering with stress and frustration, and you're sort of recognizing that, and you want to talk to a chap who's absolutely lovely, really an expert coach. I've spoken to him many times before in the past. Please do reach out to him.